You are listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. So not too long ago, I wrote a blog post about remaking history, how to change the past. I had written it in response to a couple of readers who had read some old posts on that same subject from me that wanted to know how to go about changing their own past. And the way that they shared what they were up to, I could tell that it was kind of a big deal to them, like it mattered a lot. And there was some attachment, like their well-being was dependent on being able to change this past that they'd experienced. And I knew right away, one of the reasons I was able to do this so successfully before is that I didn't need it to be any different. I had made peace with it. I was just doing it for fun. I'd read a post from Lynn McTaggart about how to change the past, and I was just experimenting with it for fun, not out of need. So anyway, I wrote this post with 3 tips on the trick to do-overs. And after I wrote it, I thought, it's been a while since I've played with this. That other story that I tell, I actually don't really tell publicly. It was super personal. But it had been a while, and I thought it'd be fun to have another new success story on changing the past. So I thought to myself, well, if I could change anything, what would I change? And I didn't think I was going to be able to think of anything that I cared about enough to really get some good energy in, but I was wrong. I thought of something. I thought of my investment results on a couple of different things. Like I had a real estate transaction from a couple years before, and I had, a couple of mutual funds I'd recently cashed out, fairly big accounts that they were just really dismal returns. And it's because for a couple of different reasons, I'd moved one of them into a money market, basically doing nothing. And the other one was like a bond in a money market mix. I mean, super, super, super conservative. I had reasons at the time, but I don't know if they were really good reasons. Anyway, could you even tell? I got a little irritation when I visit that other past where those investments didn't do so well. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that story. So I thought, yeah, if I could change anything, I would change that. And so I went about it the way Lynn teaches it, where she says, you just tell the story a little different than you had been before. Just tell a softer version. It's not like you got to meditate on it for an hour every day for 30 days or anything like that. In fact, all our best manifesting works that way, doesn't it? Where the light touch works really well. So I did. I just told myself a little bit different story about how well my investments have done, how they always do well. And then I let it go. And that was about, I don't think 48 hours passed before I actually had another investment I got cashed out of. So I had this big chunk of money I had to do something with. And I thought, well, I'm going to put it back at Vanguard. I was going to send the money back to Vanguard. So I called an agent to talk about getting the money back into them. And in the course of our conversation, the agent said to me, she asked, where would you like this invested? And I was like, that's a good question. And I was thinking, where did I want to put it? And she was just being super helpful. And she said, well, where you had it before was, and she named the name of a fund that I didn't recognize. And I was like, yeah, no, I had it in a money market and then a money market and a bond fund. I mean, I'm crystal clear on where it was. And she said, no. She started reading off, the dates and the amounts and the name of the fund again. And she tells me what the fund is comprised of. It's mostly stocks. And I thought, I wish it had been invested there. And then I thought, this is my new past coming to fruition. This is universe answering my new story. So I was like, stop arguing with her, Jeanette. Let her have it. Let you have it. So I stopped arguing, and I finished my transaction with her. And after I hung up the phone, I got to thinking, I was like, when I did cash those accounts out, there was more money there that I was a little surprised that at the amount that it got cashed out. I was like, I didn't think it was that much. It's so funny how this stuff works, don't you think? Like when we give ourselves more room to play, it's just, I read a newsletter from Ptah recently where they basically said, you are so much more powerful than you can even conceive of. And I think when it comes to, I've even heard Abraham say, well, you can't change the past or something along those lines. And I raise my eyebrows every time I hear it because I think, oh, maybe they're not talking to the advanced creators, the people who know that anything goes, that if whatever we're willing to imagine is possible. I share this because first of all, I think it's fun to play with new things, but also anytime that it feels important or a big deal, or we have any need or attachment flowing, pretty much going to stop the party with those kinds of vibrations. So being able to make peace with what is and doing it just for fun because you can, with a light heart, not being too attached to it, that's definitely setting yourself up for success. Whether you're changing the past or creating something new in the future, I think that's worth remembering. So here's to having more fun with our manifesting selves and having lots of fun stories to share with each other about it. Thanks for listening, everyone. Happy manifesting.